Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are it it helps if I press this button. Fantastic. We are currently defending this area here, and Germany is kind of attacking. They're attacking across the board here and there. Mostly here, here, and here are the locations that they've been attacking. Now, that's all well and good. The real question here is, will we be able to hold out too much longer? Now, you'll notice we have some manpower here. That is because off camera, I did the recruitments that we've been doing, mostly because we didn't queue this up last episode, but off camera, at the end of last episode, I added in the infantry and armor divisions, not exactly like this, but like this, like we had before. And then before this started, I just canceled them. And you can see it's that gave us that manpower. That's where that comes from. I don't know why it's doing that to this day, but sure. That's where that comes from. And the manpower just immediately vanishes. We need more manpower than that. That's very clear. But the real question here is, can we finish up this naval base? And they haven't really been attacking here. Now, more German troops are coming in over here, but honestly, that doesn't really help them. And the reason I say that is because of supplies. Our supplies are stretched a little thin here, to be sure. There's no doubt about that. Hello, pause menu. Our supplies are stretched a bit thin here. That's definitely for sure. But their supplies are stretched more thin up here. Their supplies are okay on this side, and this flank is the dangerous one for us. They have to cross this river, and I want to ensure that this flank has priority here. Okay. Looks good. So we're not building up here right now because they're attacking us. I want to check in, how much manpower have they spent attacking us here? Actually, quite a lot. So most of these losses happened in our last invasion. That was like 150,000. These losses here, they've lost quite a lot just attacking into us. We have very defensible terrain here, and we're digging in further. That's the thing. We need to dig in maximally. And then we need to get other infrastructure built here before we can really think about pushing out. But for right now, this looks okay. If they keep piling troops in, then I think we're fine. If they keep piling troops up here. Down this way. Oh, look at this. They actually do have a bit of a supply strain down here now, too, from the sheer number of troops that they've put down here. So their supply strain is definitely picking up. And ours is not great here. But it should get alleviated somewhat, in theory, by finishing this. Which will currently be done on 2 January, unless they delay it through more attacks. But for the moment, this looks okay. We're holding quite firm. That's the important thing here. We have a lot of equipment stored, no doubt about that. Okay, this is a year tick very soon. But that was a very lengthy day tick there. Okay. Here comes the year tick. Now that the year tick has happened, I want to look at the German manpower. How much did they regenerate? 62 to 75k. So we now know that they're regenerating less than 100,000 per month. That's a guarantee at this point. Right? Pretty sure that's how that works. I think that's true. Not 100% on that one, but I'm pretty sure. Let's check in real quick on the status of the US. Okay. So they've pretty much lost, well, they've lost Sardinia. They've nearly lost Corsica. They're they could easily take this back. This has no supply. But they're going to have a hard time retaking Corsica at this point, I think. And the Central Powers are definitely making good gains in Africa. But for how long? That's the question. It's mostly Turkey making those gains. Okay. Turkey's honestly far less dangerous. But for the moment, this seems fine. So we should be finishing up our construction here, like, right now. Yes. So that naval base finished here. Now, the supply flow here isn't necessarily what's huge. Yeah, we can see the level 1 naval base here is our bottleneck at this point. And we do want to upgrade this to max level, to be clear. But that's a low priority at this moment. Reason being, what we really wanted here was this supply hub. That's what we really wanted. Having some supply throughput up here is good. Yes. That does expand our supplies here nicely. And I think we can turn down the motorization level of this hub at this point and turn up the motorization level of this hub. Cool. So that will help out our supplies over here. And now we can focus in on getting all of our constructions here done. Excellent. And we're just digging in further. This is going to get worse and worse for them in terms of attacking. So that should be fine. Now we still have regiments like this one that are desperately in need of manpower. The question is, do we have any manpower currently allocated to ships? Like, I really wish that we could set the reinforcement priority of this army. Can we do that? There must be some way to do that, right? Let's see here. That's half of the current divisions. I feel like that needs to be necessary. Motorization priority. Sure. Railway guns, air wings attached. That's the fuel there. That's all well and good. Consolidation is not possible. Strategic redeployment is off. Yeah, that's all fine. And that's their insignia. So, I want all of this manpower that's coming in here to be going into this army, specifically. Now we can see that they have a pretty decent advantage on us. Actually, we don't need to be executing any plan here. All we're doing is holding this terrain. Now, our tanks are not necessarily the best at holding ground. That's for sure. That's what our infantry is better at. But we can see that the Germans are just deploying more and more over here. Now, this attack over this way is at 74, which I do find to be a little bit spooky. So for right now, we're just going to ensure that this front over here has build priority. Okay. There we go. We're able to hold this for now. The longer we hold this, the better off we are. They've now lost 164,000. And we no longer have supply issues out over here. Well, anywhere here at all, for right now. So all we're trying to do right now is dig in further. That is our only current goal. 18 January and 23 January, sure. We have some land forts across all of these, but now we're trying to dig in just as hard as we can on this flank. This flank is the flank that I think is most likely to fall. And the reason for that, again, is because of their supply distribution. They have very few supplies up this way. What just happened? This all became part of China just now, as we were talking there. That's interesting. I mean, they're both part of the Central Powers. Will that be better or worse for the German supplies, I wonder?
Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened.
Or exactly the same? It might be exactly the same.
Year 1944. Much has
But yeah,
happened
these over here are definitely the higher threat troops because of the supply issues up this way. So that's definitely going to be a concern. And it looks like they're moving a bunch of troops in or out.
our air offensive has seriously
They're moving troops out.
strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground.
That's interesting.
Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons
I'm wondering why they're deciding to do that.
and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned.
Indonesia's not in this war,
The world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in
and they wouldn't join that.
devotion to duty and skill in
Technically, this is an offensive war, so
nothing less
fair enough.
than victory.
Fair enough. All we're doing here is trying to dig in. That is the entire plan.
And noble undertaking.
Dig in and cost the Germans a bunch of troops. Like, we're tying down so many troops here right now. Like, it's unreal how many troops that we're tying down here. Look at that. 12 to 159 infantry brigades right here. Right? Those are brigades. I don't technically know if these are brigades or not. I'll be honest, my modern military division knowledge is not the greatest. Whatever those subdivisions of the divisions are. There we go. Regiments? Are those bigger or smaller than divisions? I don't know. I don't know. My modern military knowledge is not the greatest. And this isn't exactly modern, but you know, close enough. So they're attacking these mountains up over here. They're not going to see any success along this front up here. If they're going to see success, I believe that it will be across this river. But they do have to cross a river into forest where we are dug in with land forts. It's going to be very difficult for them. That's for sure. And that's all we want. All we want right now is to make it incredibly difficult for them to push us back. And once we have this position of incredible strength, then we'll be able to hopefully push out. But pushing out is very manpower expensive, and we may not actually want to do that. Oh wow, Burma's really pushing them back over here. I didn't realize they were that close. I guess the US is mostly doing it. Fair enough. So Germany is definitely negative in manpower, right? I mean, they still have some manpower, and then the month tick happens, and they got a little bit more. Sure. Okay. Now, I do want to put in our divisions here. I didn't really like doing that off camera, so we'll put these in, and I don't really care where they come out. We're not going to finish them. We're just going to leave them there for now. Cool. And Germany's just moving huge numbers of troops around. Like, how many troops do they have arrayed against us here? Well, let's make a quick estimation of that. So each one of these infantry units is... I'm not going to save this. But each of these infantry units is... manpower. 500. Okay. So, let me pull up a calculator here quick. How many troops do they have arrayed against us? Let's see here. I'm going to take the top end here, but I'm only going to calculate the infantry, and the rest, all of their artillery, their support battalions, all of those things, we're going to use that as kind of margin of error, right? So we're only taking the infantry. 91 plus 126 plus 91 plus 12 plus 194 plus 136, and then this one here is 126, and then that's also counting any naval or air manpower they have in the region. That's all considered part of that margin of error. So this is a very rough estimate, right? But we'll see. 128. This is 126. This is... That's entrenched. I don't care about that. This is 208? Oh, wow. Okay. Sure. And then this over here is 113. So, if we pop over to display capture here real quick. Yeah, 1650. And actually, let me increase the brightness here on the... Actually, this is the wrong display capture, isn't it? Okay, that's exciting. Well, it's a little bit dim, but 1650 here. Sure. So, we multiply that by 500. 825,000 troops, based on our rough calculations here, that they've arrayed against us. Almost 1 million. That is a huge amount of their army. Like, if we look at how many troops that they have arrayed right now, like, how many troops do they have deployed? 6 to 9 million. This is 10% of their army. That is incredibly valuable to the United States right now. That they are deploying 10% of their army to deal with this? That's absolutely insane. And we're just digging in and tying them down. That's our entire plan here, for the record. That's the whole plan. So I do think that we want to prioritize these naval bases above these structures here. These are fallback positions, and so they're fairly low priority. So that's fine. But we definitely want to get all 3 of these built soon enough. So we're going to finish up this one. That'll be done right about now, actually. And now we'll move this guy up to the top. Cool. Okay. The rest of these guys are all in mountain, so that's not too concerning. This one we should definitely have here. That's a river crossing, but they are going to be attacking into plains. So we definitely want to have more there as well. And in fact, let's just go ahead and move that one up for the time being. Cool. There we go. That'll do. German-Russia has decrypted our ciphers. Okay, that's not great, but it's fine. We can back off on our steel order from the US, but we do need additional chromium. So we're not actually going to end up saving any factories here, which is sad. We do have a free military factory, and honestly, I feel like we don't need it. I wouldn't mind converting it to a civilian, but we don't have the time, we don't have the civilian factories to do that right now. So I guess we'll toss it into artillery and support equipment, which does put us negative in steel, but only by 1. And I think that's okay. Where are the resources over here? They're in this province. So we're going to get some of this steel here. I think that's okay. Being negative by 1 in steel is acceptable here, I think. The cipher for Switzerland is decrypted. What? Did I accidentally decrypt the cipher for Switzerland? I guess I did. Sure, we'll activate it, but I intended to be decrypting the Germans, not the Swiss. I don't know how that one happened. I have no explanation for this. Okay, so we have quite a stronghold here. That's for sure. We're seeing them taking some attrition down over here. We have a supply issue up here at this point. Now, I knew that that was coming. I would love to get a supply hub built here. And actually, that being a top priority is maybe not the worst thing. We build a railway like this. How long would that end up taking? till 8 April. If we did it this way, 24 April. I think we're reasonably safe to do this. I don't think we have to focus too hard at this point on our defenses. I think getting supplies up here is a bigger deal. So looking at our supplies here, we can see that there's a bottleneck over here in Perth to Orissa. That's expected. The bottleneck here is in Canberra to Melbourne. It's a railway bottleneck. So there's nothing we can do about that. That is what it is. Paratroopers finish, and we are certainly going to... Let's see, that's all done at this point. Cool. We're going to grab support companies if there's anything here. There's not. Armor should be all done. Artillery, all done. Naval, we already have super heavy battleship hull, so I think this is all done. Yes. Air is heavily underway. We could research carrier variants of a lot of these things. I guess we'll go ahead and do that. We're getting very close to done with everything else because engineering and industry are done. So all we have left is air researches. Cool. So that'll be fine. And this supply hub up here will be finished soon enough. Our level 1 railway will be done over here soon. But I'm not sure that that railway actually does anything without a supply hub. So that's a bit of a concern. Okay. Another decent thing that we could do is upgrading this naval base. But I think that that is a lower priority for the moment. So this will currently finish on 13 August. It takes a long time to build supply hubs. A very long time. I wish that there were, like, levels of supply hubs, and that this would be, like, a level 5 supply hub. Technically, this is a level 1 supply hub. But I don't think that you can upgrade supply hubs. We've got this supply hub in Orissa here that isn't really useful. What we really need right now, I think, is more supply throughput, more than anything, right? Let's think about that. Supply from hubs in Orissa, supply from state in Orissa. State supplies are scaled to 44% due to not having full control of the state. So I think really doing this, at least to a level 2, would be the way to go. We'll get this railway done. And how long does that take? Those usually take, like, a month or two. Yeah, basically 2 months. Or like a month and a half, really. So that would be a nice thing to do. They just keep piling more troops over here, and their supplies just keep getting worse. Okay. Well, that's certainly exciting. We're going to finish up these railways up here soon enough. And then we're going to work on the supply hub up here. I do still think that that supply hub will be important for when we push out and try to take over the whole state. And the question is, when will that be? The answer is probably not now. Well, definitely not now. We definitely want to get our supplies underway here. So we want to get that under control. And having more supply throughput up here would be incredibly good from what I'm reading here. Because, yeah, we're overloaded from this supply flow, which I think is really weird that it overloads before you hit a level 10 naval port. Like, it just overloads from the level 5 railway way back that we can't upgrade. It's a little weird. It's a little weird, I'm not going to lie. But I think overall it's fine. And just having more supply flow from this naval base will help. We have a free military factory right now, and we don't really need it. But I guess we'll toss that into carrier naval bombers. Wait, do we have another one? No, that was it. Okay. Sounds good. Well, there we go. Our supplies are getting better in this region. They won't be done for a little bit yet. We're going to be done here on 28 April, so that's not too bad. And then we'll get this supply hub built, and we will work on this naval base a little bit more. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to be slightly confused at what the Germans are doing supply-wise. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, JJ Gamer, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, Jens Graham, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.